Gravel. Why is this crap so expensive? Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics, and as you can see, I'm back in the room again. I decided I was going to go ahead and resurrect the whole room again. I actually put the table and everything here. I don't know. I like being in here. It's peaceful. The sound is so much better. The filming is so much better. I mean, I'll still go in the fish room, but I like to do the initial part in here. That way I have my table where I can do unboxings and I can do all that stuff. But you're not here to hear me ramble about that. You're here to hear about gravel and Jason's travels into the gravel world. So you guys know how expensive gravel can be when you go down to your local pet store or your LFS or whatever it may be. It's like, you know, a small bag that won't even do a 10-gallon tank is about like $8 or $9. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. Or you can get a bigger bag that's like 25 pounds and it's still like 20-something dollars for it. So I decided that I wanted to try to find a better way to find gravel and to find better choices of it. So, you know, you can go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever your home improvement store might be, and pretty much the only gravel that they ever have that's really usable is the pea gravel, which is like, you know, the small kind of river rocks. You can get a 50-pound bag of that for, I don't know, like $15 or something. It's not bad, but it's the most common thing, so you see it all the time. Another great thing to use that you'll see a previous video that I've done on it is the pool sand that they use. It's the sand that they use inside the filters. That stuff works absolutely great. I have it in a bunch of my tanks, but I'm getting kind of bored of it, so I kind of, you know, I'm looking for something different. So whenever you're using sand, and the pool sand is the best stuff that you can buy because it's the cleanest. Whenever you get that stuff in and you clean it up, it cleans up really fast. If you just buy the normal play sand, that stuff is hard to get clean. You gotta stir it and stir it and stir it, and it just seems to never stop being cloudy. So my suggestion is if you're wanting to do just a plain sand like that, is you get that pool filter sand. They don't have it at Lowe's, but Home Depot has it. It's about $6 a bag. And if you can't seem to find it there, or for some reason you don't have one, you can go to your local pool store, like I think Leslie's or something is one of them. They have it there also. There you can get it in like different sizes. They have smaller, I don't know the name or the nomenclature for it, but whatever. It's different sizes of that pool sand you can get. So, but we're not talking about pool sand, we're talking about gravel. So I decided that I would do a little research into gravels. So I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so I have access to every store imaginable, plus some. So one of the stores that I pass all the time is a landscape supply store that's off the side of one of the major highways, and they have like 5, maybe 10 acres, it's big, of rocks, like landscaping style rocks. So I thought, you know what, I need to try a place like that. So I went around to a few different ones because that one is a little farther. But some of the smaller ones that I went to, you kind of dealt with the same problem again. You could get the pea gravel, but there was really no other gravels that are available. And I think the thing that kind of kicked this off is I was watching one of Bob Steenfott's videos, and he found this stuff called Mexican gravel. It was a lot of black in it, and I absolutely loved it. And I figure he's all the way up in the Washington area, and I'm in Texas, so therefore I'm a whole lot closer to Mexico. So you might think that I would have access to Mexican gravel easier than he would have access to it, but apparently not. I went to 4 or 5 different stores, nobody had it. So I don't know what the deal with that stuff is. I don't know if that's just some nickname they gave it or whatever, but that's what I wanted, but I could never find that. So decided to make the trip out to it, to the big one. It's called a WizQ. I'll give you a little bit of video right here. You can watch a little bit of walking around and seeing kind of what it looks like. So when you're there, there's just tons of stuff, and you just kind of walk around and you're kind of confused at exactly what the heck you're supposed to be doing. There's front end loaders everywhere, and all the prices you see, pretty much the prices are based upon per ton. And I figured my wife probably doesn't need me to buy a ton of gravel because that's 2,000 pounds of gravel, a little more than I think I might need. I know I got a bunch of tanks, but I don't need 2,000 pounds of gravel. So I began to walk around. It's 102 degrees outside. I'm melting, but I'm excited about gravel. Yeah, I know, excited about gravel. So the first thing that I start looking at is they have some of the river rock. And the river rock actually has price by the pound. And there's about 5 or 6 different styles and different colors. And you know, some of them that start kind of small like this, and some of them get kind of big and they get all the way up to big boulders. That stuff was about $2 a pound. Is that how much it was? 2, that'd be 30 pounds, it'd be 60. No, it was, I'm sorry, it was like $1. It's like $1 something a pound for that river rock. It was basically, you can buy some of the river rock from Home Depot also. If you saw my previous video, I had some pink colored river rock that I bought, ones that are about this big. I bought a 30-pound bag for $13. So that would be, well, that's $4 a pound. So yeah, it was about 3. So I'm sorry, I'm having an argument with myself here, and I apologize. So so basically the price at this place to get it by the pound wasn't that much cheaper than getting it at Home Depot. At Home Depot, you just go in, you grab a bag, throw it, and you pay for it and you leave. Here, you have to bring your own containers. That's the thing I learned the first time. I went there the first time and looked around, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I had to ask questions, and then I had to come back another time so that I would be prepared. So I looked at all that rock, but I was mainly looking for gravel at this point. So I went around to the gravel side, and they have probably, I don't know, 16 or 18 types of gravel. Some of it are the same thing, but it's just different sizes, and some of it are just kind of river rocks again, and some of it is pea gravel. But they did have a few other ones that were kind of cool. We'll go downstairs here in a little while, and I'll let you see what I picked out. I ended up picking out 4 different types of gravel. One of the ones I picked out was a basalt, which is like a real black colored gravel. And then I picked out a royal mica, which has got a lot of pinks and dark kind of colors in it. And then I picked up a Canadian river rock or something like that was kind of cool. And then I picked up another one that looked just like the royal mica that was a granite. So the stuff was anywhere from $90 a ton all the way up to $200 a ton. So I'm figuring in my head, they're probably going to charge me more when I buy it by the pound than buying it by the ton. Ton would be cheaper. So I figure, okay, well, if I buy it if it was by the ton and it's $90, wait, the one that was let's go to the $200 because that's easier math. The $200 one, $200 a ton, 2,000 pounds in a ton, so therefore 10 cents a pound. So if I get a 5-gallon bucket, typically you fill a 5-gallon bucket up with rocks or sand or whatever, it weighs about 50 or so pounds. So I figure 10 cents a pound, 50 pounds, if I can get a thing like this for $5, I'm gonna be ecstatic. If I get it for $10, I'm gonna be ecstatic because you're not gonna be able to buy that stuff anywhere that cheap. So my son and I go out there, this time it's 197 degrees. But I brought 4 5-gallon buckets, and I brought a shovel with me. That way I can just shovel it all in. So I was a little concerned because, again, I'm not exactly sure how you do this. So I don't have a truck. I need a truck. Seriously, you're thinking, Jason, you live in Texas and you don't own a truck? Yeah. I'm one of the few that do not have a truck. But man, I need a truck. There are way too many things that I'm going to pick up that do not fit in my car, especially when I go to Lowe's and I'm building stands and things like that. Sorry, that's another video of Jason ranting about needing a truck. So, put them in the back of my car. We shoveled, filled each one of the 5-gallon buckets up, went up to the front where they had some scales at, set them beside the scales, went inside, talked to this wonderful gentleman that was extremely helpful. And I really appreciated him, because I was kind of, thinking that I don't know what I'm doing. These people are going to make fun of me. They're thinking, why are you buying just a little bit of rock? But they didn't. They were absolutely wonderful. So he came outside and he begins to weigh everything, and then he looks at the mica and the granite, and he's having trouble telling them apart. And I looked down at them, and I didn't realize they looked almost identical also, or I wouldn't have got one of each one. But I think he says the granite is typically a little more pink, so he finally figured out what it was, and got them all weighed. There's about 58 to 60 pounds in each one. And some of the ones, I got some that were $90 a ton, some that were $200 a ton. So some of the stuff, and that's the price they actually charged me. That's what it broke down to per pound. So it was like, one was like 7 cents a pound. So I get a 5-gallon bucket with about 55 pounds for less than $4. So all 4 of these things, over 200 pounds, I get for $18. And I am ecstatic. I am pumped. But on that note, something that I didn't process very well, and I know better, is that you have to be careful when you have quarries, because the quarries have those barbells that come off of their mouths that they feel around with. And if you have rough or sharp rocks, they'll rub those things off eventually, and it'll start causing infection. So be careful when you're choosing any type of gravel when you're gonna have bottom feeders like that, because it can be rough on them. So that was the only problem. When I got back, I realized that some of these are gonna be a little bit difficult to use with them. So what I decided to do with some of the ones that I put in is I mixed sand with it, so that I had like a nice sand layer, and so that there was not as many of the rocks poking up. But the only problem is that kind of covered the rocks and took away from the prettiness of the gravel. But that was a lesson learned. So my excitement for the gravel kind of waned a little bit, but it is what it is. So there you go. If you guys are looking for gravel, be sure and go out and check out your local landscaping store. Again, you can also get the river rocks. You can get slate. Get some slate and break it into pieces, and make all the different caves and stuff, or the Pleco caves, or whatever you're gonna do. There's tons and tons and tons of rock there. And there's usually a section where you can pick and choose your own. That's the cool thing about the spot where you buy it by the pound, is you can pick and choose exactly which pieces that you want. So that is the gravel story. Okay, so here we are. We just got back, and these are the different gravels that we got. So first of all, this one is a basalt. As you can see, I cleaned it up so you can have a better look of it. And so the basalt, you can see, is real black. This one, I think I got about 60 pounds of each one. This one, there's 2 of them that look the same. I think this is the Royal Mica. You can see I really like this one. It looks really cool. All right, so and then the next one, this one is Canadian Small. So basically, I was just trying to grab 4 different ones just to kind of get an idea of what I liked, and just to kind of mix the tanks up some. And then the next one, this is called Decomposed Granite. You can see this is really cool looking too. All right, there you go. That is pictures of the 4 different ones I got. So thanks again, guys, for stopping by. I'd love to hear your stories of you going to your local landscaping supply and some of the cool things that you found there. Be sure and share that with all of us. We'd love to know. It's cool whenever you can find something that you need a lot of and find it at an extremely discounted rate like this. Love you guys so much. Appreciate each and every one of you. Calendar is really starting to go through my head. We are going to do the calendar. I just need to begin to work on making that video and exactly how I'm going to do it. It's going to be probably almost the same as last year, but I do need to get that in process. So you need to be in, all you guys that want to be a part of that, start getting your pictures together. I really want to try to take the absolute, since I'm gonna have a lot of time that time, I want to take the absolute best pictures that I can and use it in the calendar. There were some rough ones in there last year. I ended up having to take almost every single picture just because I need 52 pictures. I had to take almost every one of them. So, all right, I'm making the calendar video when I'm not supposed to be making the calendar video. Sorry. Thanks again, guys, for stopping by, and God bless.